Hey everybody, on today's episode we have Pablo Stanley, which probably doesn't need introduction because you'll probably know him from around the web. He's one of the most out there famous designers. He's now leading the design of Envision Studio, the design software. He also has a podcast in Spanish. He's also putting comics and Medium articles. He's doing a lot of stuff. Obviously, the YouTube channel Sketch Together. So you must know Pablo Stanley. And on this conversation, we talk about so many things. Working for Envision remotely is just one of them. But I can promise you, because Pablo is such a funny guy, this is a really great conversation. We'll keep you smiling for the whole hour. Enjoy it. What is up, Pablo?
What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? Good. Thank you so much for being on the show. Let me give you a little bit of context. So this is called Blind Date, where I usually talk to designers that we didn't get to we saw each other or we follow one another online and we were kind of like online friends, but we never sat on a proper date to get to know each other. And I think this is a format to really first time really talk to you, because I've been following you for a while on the internet, and there's so many cool things that I'd love to know, and I think it's a great way to build relationship and learn from one another. You look so much better now.
Well, I didn't know this was a date, so now I'm getting ready for my date.
That looks perfect.
Getting a nice and sexy for you, man.
Awesome. So last time I saw you was last year at the Epicurrence. Actually, last February it was.
Yeah.
And
was this the workshop one?
Yeah, it was the one in Yosemite.
You gave a workshop, right?
Yeah, I did the Webflow workshop over there.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. And you gave a 3-day workshop, right?
Yeah. And it turns out it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I can imagine, because people might have had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And you can just go really deep into that stuff.
But there's so many things that happened during the last year. I mean, you changed jobs. I actually also kind of changed because I created my Webflow course. That wasn't something that even was planned last year. So tell me from your end, what's been happening, man?
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. So hold on, are you in an office right now? Is that your office?
This is kind of like a shared office, kind of like WeWork type of thing. I used to work from home, okay. But I've got 2 kids, and that has become a little bit of problematic, specifically when you try.
You have 2 kids?
I do have 2 kids, yeah.
Dude, you do not look, I don't know, I don't know what is the stereotype that I look my bias in my head about what a dad looks like, but you do not look like that.
Yeah.
And 2 kids, that is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's totally
so
great.
You're using the WeWork to stay away from your kids. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, actually, yes. I pay a lot of money to stay away from them. No, honestly, I just took this office at the beginning of the year. So it's been 3 months now. And I've been working, my oldest son is 4.5. So I've been working almost 4 years with but it turned out to be not very productive in terms of,
Really? Being at this place?
No,
is that what you're saying?
Here is very productive. That's why I moved here.
Oh,
yeah.
Being over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were getting constantly distracted, or what?
Yeah, they finished the kindergarten pretty early. And then they would come home, and obviously they want to jump into my room and play and stuff like that. And sometimes that's cool, but sometimes I have to, get on calls and focus and stuff like that. Plus, I'm doing a lot of recording.
Do you ever include them in your videos and stuff?
When I started the channel and it was a little bit more vlog-like-y, I would kind of shoot them around when they were kids, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting older, and now they're like, hey, Dad, I don't want to be in your
No,
videos.
they don't.
You're embarrassing me, Dad.
No. They're not there yet at all. It's just like that. It's just that I got the feedback from people in the channel. They were like, "We don't care to see your family. You just talk about design. Stop with these boring vlogs. We don't care what you ate."
Dude, but it's a blog. What were they expecting?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's not like because you do it every day, right, man?
Yeah, I do it every day.
Dude, that is like what you cannot be talking about design every day.
But you know
like,
what? I think during the last 4 years, kind of the platform has shifted a little bit. Now I kind of share my family life and stuff like that on the Instagram stories, and it feels like more appropriate. Where kind of there you get the behind the scene, and on YouTube, which is basically honestly a search engine. So people might search for a specific thing and they want an answer for that thing. So that's where they go to learn. And on Instagram, they kind of get kind of like a glimpse of the life, whatever.
I see. So that's how I should be using the Instagrams.
Because, I think you have been.
I just heard it's this new thing. There's Instagrams, the stories, right?
What? What are you talking about? I'm following you on Instagram. You use it very well.
No, man, I am new to this thing. I am just learning about this.
Like you're posting photos with your parents, right? I think on Instagram. I love that.
Just like
I love that.
It's so weird how suddenly my mind changed. I'm pretty sure that your mind changed a long time ago, but suddenly you start looking for the stories, and then you start finding the moment for it to be a story. And it's like, I don't know if it is a good or a bad thing, because sometimes at the end of the day, the story, what you record in the story has to happen, in the moment for it to be a story, so you're kind of forcing yourself to do stuff, to be out and have an interesting life that merits to be a story, but so in a way it's good, right? Because it gets you up your ass, and it's like suddenly you're doing something.
I think it has both sides.
The other side is too that as well. But it's fake. You would have probably not done that if your mind hadn't been thinking about like, I have to make a story. I have to my followers need me to give them an update. I don't know. Like I have mixed feelings about all this stuff, and
you know what? I feel exactly the same way.
I have the Instagram stories bug now.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I feel like, first of all, specifically, like last week, I went on a date with my wife, and we went to this like new restaurant that's really, really like crazy in the sense that it's like Alice in Wonderland. So it's like everything is really crazy, and everybody's there is dressed up, and there's like really crazy shit going on there. And I was like, wow, this is perfect for the stories. But I was like, no, I'm on a date. I'm not gonna do that. I just want to like be here with my wife. I don't want to do anything here today.
How does your wife handle the whole you being a famous person thing and you needing to be on the social media?
First of all, I don't know. Honestly, like she doesn't watch any of my YouTube channel at all. She was like, I'm bored. I don't care about design. She never watches it.
Totally respect that. I love that.
But then again, on the Instagram stories, she does watch that just because she's more on Instagram and it just pops there. So she's just like swiping around there. And it's always funny when we sit together and she would like pull up and she would watch my stories and I would get to watch it with her. That would be like awkward when I have to like...
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's cool with that. Like I don't think that she likes being there. Like if I shoot her and everything, so I almost don't do that.
You when you say there, you mean on the stories or you mean on the YouTube videos?
On the YouTube videos, she's rarely there.
Yeah. And that's because she doesn't want to be there, or you just like
I don't feel comfortable. Like I feel like. I haven't really asked her, maybe, but I feel like maybe she doesn't want that, so I'm not pushing it.
Is there something like a little bit of privacy that you want to keep? Is that what's going on? That you're like, hey, hey, I'm opening my world, but there's a limit to how much I open. Is that what's going on?
From my end, no. I just don't want to force other people into it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, it's more about your
But
wife.
Pablo,
probably
tell me, like you've made like a dramatic switch this year, right? Moving from your startup to Envision. Tell me about that.
Yeah, man. It's I've been in Envision for a lot now. I think oh man, time has gone fast, man. Like 8-9 months now. I keep. I think for the last 3 to 4 months, I've been still saying like, oh yeah, 5 months, 6 months. But it's been longer, Pablo.
9 months. So it's about the honeymoon is about to be over soon, from my experience. Is that true?
Yeah. There was no. What do you mean with honeymoon? Like feeling like happy and butterflies in your stomach and stuff?
First of all, of course, I'm talking about my experience, and I get not bored, but I feel like when I start a new job, there is a huge learning curve at the beginning, and you're super excited about this, and everything is new and exciting, and all the challenges, and then the curve kind of like drops in terms of your learning and excitement, and then it just becomes what you do.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me, not yet.
Okay, that's good.
I don't think that. Okay, that's going to sound a little bit like.
But do you feel that way from your experience with past like stuff that you got started?
I usually just like find stuff to do that make me feel like I'm still learning, and I always feel like there's an opportunity to do something differently, to try new things. I know this sounds like. I don't know. I'm hearing myself and I'm cringing at me just saying that. But I do. I try to keep myself not bored. There's always something else to do also. Like product is never stops. It's so cool, right? That software, you can just like keep updating and keep putting stuff on it, and you can keep tweaking this and tweaking that, and let's try something new. Let's try this. I don't know. Like let's change the color. Let's see. Well, no, not change the color because. But you know what I'm saying, right? It's so cool. Like I'm pretty sure whoever came up with this whole idea, hey, just keep iterating on the code and just keep iterating on this. They were like, yeah, this way we're gonna keep a job that is always giving us. It's always there. It was a genius way of keeping ourselves busy and keeping ourselves with a job. Until the robots take over and they realize like, yeah, I can do all this iterative process. I can change. I can do it faster for less money. Oh my God, I'm ready for that. Are you ready for the robots?
For the robots? Yeah.
Are you ready for this automation design stuff that is happening?
It's happening already, I feel like. But I'm not concerned because somebody's going to have to design the robots, and I think that's super interesting. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that's one. So you're not in the paranoid camp. It was like, oh, we're gonna take our jobs. We're gonna go be jobless and stuff.
I don't think
you're not in that.
That's
camp.
Not paranoid. That's realistic. But I love that. I mean,
okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. The paranoid would usually think I am being real.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying that it looks like automation and stuff like that is happening in every industry, and I think what the difference between the paranoids, or what you mean when you say paranoids, is people who are pessimistic about this. Oh my God, this is going to be horrible.
That's what
I think, okay, this is happening. I don't think that it means that it's going to be horrible. Maybe there's new opportunities there. Maybe more people are going to be happy. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I do think that at least probably it's a naive way of seeing this apocalyptic future that a lot of people predict. I see it as no. I think they say the same about a lot of tools that we currently use. They said, I'm pretty sure that somebody said that about Adobe, like Illustrator back in the day. Like probably if you were in print and you were doing
but things are changing, and things are like technologies change and like things get out of, even just like in the design industry in the last 10 years, people used to be, there was a title Flash developer or Flash designer. That does not like, that is not
Were
a
you
thing
not Flash? Were you an interact? No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
It was
I learned
interactive media designer.
I learned ActionScript so that I can do stuff with Flash.
2 or 3?
Maybe 2, probably. I don't remember.
Dude, I was on fire on ActionScript 2, man. Do you realize that a lot of the tools, a lot of the design tools right now, and a lot of the things that are like out there, like, hey, now this tool can do this. It's like, you do realize that Flash was able to do that 2 decades ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That is like,
Dude, when I had my first job in product design, we used to that was before any prototyping tool. That was before Envision came out. There was nothing. And the way that we used Flash to prototype apps, because you could you would build a timeline and you say, if you click this button, go to frame something and then do this, and
or go to a different page, or go to a
exactly. But the thing is, and that was really a complicated way to do things, but we could have done really intricate animations that, when new tools came. I think the first tool was called Flinto, and then we moved to Envision. But when we moved to Envision, suddenly we were like committed to only the interactions that they had, like the basic swipe and stuff like that, transitions. And we were used to making really intricate transitions that we couldn't do anymore. So like the new tools were simpler in a sense, and they did save us a bunch of time, but they limit our design abilities. And I think, by the way, this is important because a lot of time people design with the tools that they have. So they would say, okay, those are the transitions that we have, so let's stick with that. They won't break the tool. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. But I see what you're saying. And so I wonder if that obviously helped changing our focus into other things that could take our time, that needed our attention, right? When you have a tool that can do all of these things, then suddenly you want to do all of those things. You want to put like a movie inside an animation, and you can do all of these things. You were able to do all of that stuff inside Flash. That sometimes was not, if you were doing a prototype, then suddenly it was probably not very realistic of what was you would have been able to do on the web. So in a way, yes, that gave us limits, but with limits, we were able to change our priorities. Then suddenly we started caring more about the experience, about the people using the product, and not too much about the shiny buttons and about the like how those buttons will glimmer every time you just whisper glimmer. It will be seriously about like, no, what does that button do, and where does it take you? Are people confused when they click it? Are they like those things that I don't think we were really caring too much about? Like, but at the same time, I agree with you that well, I don't think you said that, but I'm going to put words in your mouth that I think in a way it has made the web or product or design in general a little bit boring, where suddenly you start finding patterns. And you start like saying like, hey, back in the day, we're trying all this crazy stuff and menus coming from below, and then suddenly a dinosaur will tell you to do stuff, and then the dinosaur, you press in the belly of the dinosaur, and then it will take you to this page. I don't know why, but it's cool, right? And we don't do that anymore because that will be a sin now, right? And so, which is good, but at the same time, are we also limiting ourselves on the crazy creative shit that we're doing back in the day? And I don't know. I want sometimes. I would love to challenge us. I at least to myself, just keep it a little bit weird, and keep it a little bit crazy, and still like challenge yourself to like the patterns that exist. They exist for something, but I don't know. Probably, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like what you said that I said that I didn't say, but it's true, is that I think there was a lot of experimentation which created a lot of bad design as well. Now we're much more, the guidelines of every platform is very clear, and we have kind of like standard UI kit and interaction. So I feel like UI design or something like that is very standard these days. That's not where we get creative. We get creative with the product and the experience and features and stuff like that. And it did make, like, for the users, it make their life easier because now they know what to expect. But then again, it's less creative. But I want to go back to the question, like, why did you make the move to Envision, besides Envision being a super cool company?
Well, I think it was, number one was the people working at Envision.
Okay, who convinced you? Was it Clark? Did Clark call you? Did you get the Clark from Envision email?
It was Clark. We talked, and and then Clark has a way of, Clark is a visionary. He's a dreamer, and he explains so clearly those things that are still in the future, but you can see them with him. You can clearly see that same vision that he has, and you get excited. It's contagious, like getting excited about bringing design to the world and giving design that place an importance that it needs, and bringing design to not just designers, but to the whole organization. And I think, yes, Clark, but also the people that I work with, they're amazing. And just I am privileged. I feel privileged and I feel lucky to be around such talented people. And I before that, I was a co-founder of a startup, a healthcare startup,
which is still operating.
Still. In which it was a little bit of the opposite of what I'm getting here. I feel like over there, I was I don't know, whatever title I wanted, I could have gotten it because I was the co-founder designer. I could have said I'm VP of design if I wanted to. I am director, VP, president of design. And in a way, it was great.
The team, because, by the way, how large was the team at Carbon Health?
The team was, when I left the product team, we were around almost 10 people.
10 people in the product team?
So we're small.
No, but the whole company?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that we had also different locations. Okay. We actually opened. It was a healthcare startup, and we opened clinics, and so we had providers, we had nurse practitioners, we had people on the staff, like a lot of different people that were not really in the product. Right. We were experimenting the idea of actually opening our own clinics and our own urgent care clinics. So they were still part of the company. I'm not trying to say, hey, they were different. I'm just saying, in the product, the team that were making the stuff, the meat, were 10 people.
Okay.
But we were around 25.
Okay.
Actually, when I left, we acquired another company. So when suddenly we went from 20 to 40 or 50, something like that, because more than that, because we acquired a couple of urgent care clinics. Anyway, what am I saying? Yeah. Anyway, but over there, but it still felt really small, and I was the king of design over there, and over here I don't want to say I'm a nobody, but I'm surrounded by a lot of designers. Over there, I was able to define the processes. I was able to define what it meant, the branding, marketing, everything.
Yeah.
It's so cool when you're able to do all that stuff and define it for the company, and you have all this freedom and at the same time all this responsibility. And over here, I was almost by myself. I only had one designer. She was remote. She was awesome. She started a little bit later when before I left the company. But over here I felt like I needed a place where I could be with other designers because I felt like I stopped learning,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah. So it comes
I
back to
stopped
that.
growing
Yeah,
as a
it
designer.
comes back to that curve that I was talking about.
Yeah,
In a way.
like what you're saying. It was in a different way, yes. For me, it was like, hey, you know what? I can keep learning on this stuff that is like more based on the business, which is great, and being a co-founder, and probably I could have probably started my own team, but I felt like that will be a little bit irresponsible because I don't have anyone to coach me on like how to be a manager, how to be a better design leader if I'm the only design leader. And here at Envision, I have the opportunity to do that and like be a design design lead. But at the same time, I get to learn from other people that I admire. You know that I'm learning so much. And that's why I keep saying I feel like I'm privileged and I feel very lucky to be there.
That's cool.
Hopefully they like it too.
Yeah, looks like that. But was it painful like to leave a company that you started? Like also I imagine there was some like you started the company, so you must have been like vested or has kind of like stock in the company, and just like walking away from that sounds a bit like,
Yeah,
I don't know, like it was a big investment on your end.
a terrible decision, right? It sounds like a terrible
I don't know.
economic
I don't know.
decision.
Look, you know, first of all, I've been in that position as well, where I started a product company and I invested like 2 years or 3 years of my life in it, and then walking away from that with all having somebody at the back of your head always nagging, but if this works, I could be set for life or something like that. You know, how did you feel about that? Was financials any consideration or part of that, or not at all, or
No, it wasn't for me, man.
okay?
It wasn't really that. It's weird. Probably it was more about me learning and growing as a designer.
Right.
This was an opportunity for me. Like I do want to go
But
back
it was not
eventually,
hard to give up on that, or it was like, okay.
No, well, yeah, of course. I mean, I was leaving a company in which I worked for like almost 4 years. Like I worked full time for 2 years, but before that, I was working full time on one place, and then half time in the afternoons at this place when we're just really starting. And that was like for a year and a half. So
how did your
yeah,
partners
like
react when you wanted to leave?
they were really understanding. They knew that what I wanted to do, and I thank them for that a lot. I think we also led a very good system, so I didn't feel as bad as it was. Like in a way, I was like, I'm not indispensable.
Okay.
You guys can figure it out without me. And you always feel like, oh, they're not going to be able to do that without me. And it's like, no, these people are really smart.
No, but it depends. It depends. It's not I think like everybody is replaceable, but I know also from my experience leaving work that sometimes the people that you work with are like, what? I can't believe that you're abandoning us. It's like blah blah blah. How can you not want to be a part of that? And like guilting you into when you want to do your own thing.
Yeah, there was none of that.
Okay, that's amazing.
From the people, there was only support. I felt more. I felt the guilt. I felt like I'm leaving my friends too. It's not just my coworkers. I'm leaving my friends, and so I felt a lot of that. But then after I got the response, I felt so much better.
Are you still in touch? Are you still involved with the company?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a co-founder. We still chat. I'm not a lot. I move out of San Francisco, so I don't get to see them.
Are you in Mexico? You said that you're in Mexico right now.
Right now I'm in Mexico.
Where are you?
Envision is all remote, and so I am doing a little bit of nomad thing.
Nice.
But I go to one place and I stay. Right now I'm staying in my hometown. I decided to stay here for a month and a half, probably 2 months, before I move somewhere else. This is because here my family's here. I hadn't been close to my family.
Where is that?
not more than one weekend for over 16 years.
Wow.
So
What's the
So I
name
was
of
like,
the
hey,
town?
you know
What's the
what?
name of the town?
It's called Mexicali. And
Mexicali?
it's in Mexicali, Baja
Wow.
California. Well, Mexicali.
Okay. I'm looking that up
We
to
call
see
it
where it is on the
Cali.
map. Oh, it's really on the
Yeah, man,
border?
it's in Baja California. It's in the middle of the desert. It's hot as hell. Right now I'm sweating and it's really uncomfortable, but it's weird. It's in the middle of the desert. There's no vegetation. The sun is horrible, but the people here are so proud of that. Does that? I'm pretty sure that that's happened in other cities too, where it's like we are able to survive this horrible environment, and we are special because of
Oh
that.
yeah, that's actually the story of the whole country that I live in the Middle East. So yeah. So
Exactly, you are able to endure all this pain
exactly.
and I don't know.
But how's working from Mexico again? How's living in Mexico again? You were in San
It's
Francisco for many years, right?
Yeah, I was in San Francisco for 6 years.
Okay.
Before that, I was in San Diego, and for a little bit, I was in Madrid too. Yeah, being back in Mexico is cool, dude. I'm eating a lot of tacos. I'm actually worried about my belly because I've been eating a lot of. Well, I don't eat tacos, but like bean tacos. I'm vegetarian, so I get to eat a lot of quesadillas.
Mm.
And dude, like the tacos over here, so they put like the salsa bar on your table. Like you sit down and you have like, as a vegetarian, it's awesome because they give you all these veggies. It's almost like a salad bar just for yourself. And it's, yeah, you get like cucumbers, you put a little bit of lemon and salt, and then also like a burnt. It's not burnt. I don't know what the word is, but burnt little onions, but the long onions. Little onions. I don't know how to say it in English.
Onions, little onions, I guess.
But not like round onions. The ones that are like long.
Chives or something. I don't remember.
Yes, that thing. And oh man, they're delicious when they're put on the grill. And then
I love
you
that.
just put a little bit of salt and a little bit of lemon. Oh, dude! By the way, Mexicans, we just put salt and lemon on everything, and it makes everything delicious. Lemon
Limes. No.
Yeah, and lemon too. Like
The yellow lemons. For me,
lemon.
for me, when I see the little green limes, for me that's like when I smell that, that's a smell of Mexico for me.
Yeah. We put that stuff on everything, and it's awesome. Even on, like, in the United States, they will be surprised when I would put it on fruit. I was like, "What? What are you doing to the fruit? The delicious fruit that is already good?" It's like, dude, you put yogurt on it. So come on, stop. Right? And it's like, no, and you put a little bit of chili powder and lemon and
nice. Is there like a design community in Mexicali, or you're the only designer in town?
No, man, there are a lot of designers. I think there are probably too many designers because
Really?
I don't think there's a big market. It's sad, man. The reality is that it's not every place is like San Francisco or like these big cities where they will pay a good compensation for design work. Usually people don't want to pay, man, for design. That's the reality. They don't value it that much. And so it's being a designer here can be hard.
But you meet them? Like, is there like some kind of a community or meetups or something like that?
No.
Probably
I should start one. I'm going to start one. I'm going to see if probably before I leave, I can have a meeting. But no, I don't think also there's a lot of conversations about like a product design, like interaction design. Mm-hmm. I think people...
Is there a tech industry or anything at all in that
No, there's more like factory industry. Like they make like... There's a lot of factories here. And a lot of pieces of like planes.
Yeah. Industrial.
They make industrial, like big pieces, TVs and electronics and stuff, like even trucks. There's a lot of that stuff here. So not a lot of there's not a lot of market for product designers or web designers or something like that, interaction designers. So many words.
Yeah.
UX designers, product designers. What are you, man? What are you, Ran? Ran?
Yeah.
How do you say your name? Ran? Ran?
In English or in Hebrew?
Oh yeah, in Hebrew. How do you say it in Hebrew?
Ran.
Can you say it again?
Ran.
Ran.
No, that's with the Mexican R, not Ran. That's my Mexican name, but in Hebrew it's Ran.
So
yeah, it's hard.
Like
yeah.
There.
The R is pronounced a little bit differently. Yeah.
That's a very particular sound over there, man.
Yeah. Dude, so how's being a remote, like, how do you like being a remote designer?
Being a remote designer has, like everything, advantages and disadvantages, has the good and the bad. I think some of the good stuff is, well, you get to work from anywhere. Of course, that's the obvious, right? But you get to work from home. You get to work, if you wanted to travel, you could do it. But at the same time, it can be hard because probably like what you were describing, being at home, it can be like distracting. Like Netflix is right there waiting for you if you wanted to. So if you are not really good at just like managing your time, it can be really easy to just like suddenly procrastinate and do stuff, right? Because sometimes you like probably in an office, you have that social pressure.
Exactly.
I gotta be doing something because people are around me. I would say we do have a little bit of that because there are so many. You want to communicate to our people. Like, we do have an office, by the way. This office is called Slack.
Yeah, obviously.
We are in an office. Like, we treat Slack as our office. You know, you have conversations there. You have meetings there. You are making decisions there. And you also say, hi, hey, I'm going to go for lunch. Hey, I'm grabbing coffee. Like, you can do all those things that you also do on the real brick and mortar office. We try to mimic those interactions over there. So, and we treat it as our office. So I don't know, but I think
for me, I think that the hardest thing is kind of like loneliness in terms of, this is a room. I sit alone in this room alone the whole day, and I can sit right here in front of the screen. And like, we talk right now, this theoretically might be the only kind of like human interaction that I have besides, chats and stuff like that. But like, for me, that's like meeting people and hanging out with people in real life. That's the thing that I try like different ways to solve, because that's the hardest thing for me. How do you feel?
Yeah. One example, one time when I realized that we kind of need those people, and being surrounded by people for even the most basic stuff. Eating. I was realizing that I was not eating.
Yeah.
That I was just like a missing lunch, because for me, eating lunch, most of it was like a social thing. Like being,
it is,
like,
of course,
having something to do with the people that I work with. It's like hey, let's go out, let's go have lunch, let's get together, let's go to the table and just like have a conversation. And usually I wouldn't necessarily feel hungry. It was more like someone was feeling hungry, and then I would be like, yeah, let's go eat, And so suddenly, like, since there's no one telling me like, hey, are you hungry? I wouldn't feel hungry. And then suddenly it would be like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. I was like, oh, crap. I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to tell you look good. You lost some weight there.
Thank you.
Envision's working out for you, dude.
Is there a way to change the camera? Hold on. Let me change. No, there's no way. Yeah, thank you, man. That's really kind of you. I think I also stopped drinking.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Instagram. On Twitter. I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, like I didn't know if to talk about this or not, if it was like a touchy issue. But do you want to talk about this?
No, no, it's not touchy at all.
Was that like a problem that you felt like you have to like put a stop to it?
I wouldn't say it was a problem. Like, you mean like if I had a alcohol that I wasn't able to control my alcohol or
No,
something?
I don't know. Like I can totally relate to what you're saying about I'm getting old. I do not handle alcohol as I was when I was 16. I
Yeah.
I am always like, usually if I go out drinking, I would be sorry about this the next day, or I will plan to not be productive the next day. And then I'm always sorry that I did it. But then again, I don't feel like, well, maybe it's because I'm a parent and I go out so rarely that this does not happen very often. But I don't feel like I have to stop. Like yesterday, I went back home after work and like did a little kind of a whiskey cocktail and just watched TV with it, and it felt good. So it's not like it's I can relate to what you're saying, but it's not where a place where I feel like I have to change something. So I was wondering what made you make that change, or maybe it was just because it was happening too often because your lifestyle is different. I don't know.
No, I don't know, man.
Because
I'm one of
it
those
sounds
people
like a
just,
decision that
it's-
you have to say, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. And also,
yeah,
like,
and I it will sound weird, but I'm really good at just like saying like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. And then
same
I
with
will just
with
not do
not
that
eating
anymore.
meat, as you said before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I was 16 and I said, yeah, I'm not gonna eat meat anymore. And
Is
that's
that
it.
a
I
rare
stopped eating meat.
is that a rare thing for a Mexican?
Dude, it can be hard. Like I would say that it's getting easier, just like I suppose like in every part of the world. But here, like I was telling you in the tacos, dude, they put so many salsas that I can just like eat the salsas. Yum, yum, yum. And just like beans. There's always beans and rice. So there's always tortillas and tortillas made with corn. So nah, it's not that hard. There's always quesadillas too. If you are vegan, then you don't have quesadillas, man. And I feel sorry for you. Uh,
I
but
can
but no,
relate.
it's not too hard. It's okay. Yeah. So back to your question, I think it was a problem for me, that the amount of time I was losing. That's what made it for me. Was
Yeah.
like I'm not feeling good after like what you're describing. Even if I had a couple of drinks, just one drink, I'll still feel guilty next day, like I did something wrong, and and my body will be like just like, why do you do that to me? And I wouldn't, like, at the same time I wanted to make stuff. I wanted to keep creating videos or drawing, and and it will feel so guilty too because I wasn't able to do that stuff that I wanted to do, but my body didn't want to do. And I don't know. It was just my mind was not in the right place. So I was like, no, I'm going to make an executive decision. No more drinking, and it feels great. Another thing that I think that I thought about drinking is that I thought I needed it. I thought that it to be in social gatherings. Forever, I thought that if I don't drink, I'm not going to be able to socialize. I'm not going to be able to. And probably that was the case when I was younger. Now I don't know. I'm older, and I don't care anymore if people don't like me. I was like,
I
you
love
don't
that.
like me.
Honestly, that's the main reason why I like this decision, because it seems like unpopular. It was like, screw you guys. I'm not going to do that. I don't care what you think. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to drink some water
And-
here.
Exactly. And some people will be like, so you're not drinking it, and then it becomes about them.
Right.
You know, that is like, so you think that I'm doing something wrong?
Yeah.
It's like, no, hold on, no. Are you? They feel judged. And it's like, no, it's not about you. It's really just about me. I just don't want that,
Because it makes people, it makes people reflect. They can't avoid that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and exactly, and it goes back to me. It's like, dude, I don't care if you're feeling guilty about that. Probably you should check what's going on in your life. If you're like, just by me not drinking is making you feel bad about drinking. But I think it was a little bit of that. And yes, so now I'm realizing that, hey, no, I can have a good time. I can be around people, and I do need to have a glass of water or something.
Yeah, it's just because it's a social context, like, or
yeah.
Yeah,
like the habit.
Yeah,
of like
but it's also it's the same. Like when you meet people during the day, it's usually coffee. Even if you just had coffee like 10 minutes ago, you're probably going to have another coffee, even though you know it might not be a good idea for your body. But it was like, what, are we just going to sit on a table here and not just talk? That's weird. Let's get coffee. It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's you have an excuse, like something also that I used to do a lot, which is kind of weird, but I used to take photos too.
Okay.
Like I had something to do at the party. I felt like I was contributing. Like I cannot just be having small talk with people, and that's the thing. Usually, like probably I just don't have. I don't know. I was going to say something bad about my friends. No, probably I don't have smart friends. No, it's just like, it was more about me, that I just didn't feel like I was putting my time into good use. And I was like, hey, if I start taking photos, probably people are going to appreciate that. And I feel like I'm doing something, and I'm not just like here being lazy, you know? So I would take photos. That was another thing that I would just like, I needed something in my hand. Do you ever do that? Do you ever feel guilt of having a good time?
Guilt of having a good time? No.
Yeah.
But I do feel guilt, as you said, about the next day, or like I'm not going to be productive tomorrow, or it's going to hurt my productivity, or I shouldn't be doing this, that type of stuff. So, okay, what I think that is a really interesting conversation that kind of leads to another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is awareness. I feel like reading your articles, Medium articles, comics, I don't know how you want to, like, we can refer to that in whatever way. I feel like there's tons of awareness there into you, like you are, your flaws, and also like the things that are going on within the design industry, and kind of like you're using humor to address that, like either to like criticize some of the things that's going on, or to teach. How do you feel about that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like, yeah, sometimes I worry that are people going to be offended by me making fun of what we do. I feel like it's just it's prime for comedy. I feel sometimes, including myself, we will take our jobs very seriously, and you can also see it from the other side. It's like, dude, you're just making boxes and putting color. Come on, stop making a big deal about everything. So, but I know that's not what we do. Okay, don't write a blog about it. Don't hate me on Twitter about this. Oh, Pablo said that design is not important. No, I just I think humor, like when you you're able to criticize yourself, then you're able to be more open, and you're able to grow. You're able to, hey, look, it's okay. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. Hold on, let me rephrase that. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I've been doing with my comics and stuff is I think I've been trying to be a little bit more open and more vulnerable, and more talking about the things that I struggle with. And in a way, it's kind of like probably a therapy for me. Like I do it not only with my writing or my comics, I also do it with music and stuff, you know, like I wouldn't be able to write good music. I'm not saying that I have good music, but at least I wouldn't be as inspired to write music if I wouldn't feel a little bit sad sometimes, like a sadness and bad situations and things that make us uncomfortable sometimes, in like push us to be creative. And I think those things that sometimes are in my mind, and I feel like that's kind of weird, right? That pushes me, or that's kind of uncomfortable. That pushes me to also do things on something that I like, and put it out there. And the cool thing is that when you find that other people are probably feeling also that, yeah, that you're not alone, and so it serves me. So I do it in a selfish way because it's a kind of a therapy for me. But it sounds it sometimes it looks like other people can relate to those things, and it also is good for them. So in a way, I'm like, oh, this is actually not just only for me. This is not a selfish thing. It's also helping other people sometimes. Like, I'm not the only person that feels a little bit insecure, or that feels that little voice in your head telling you you're doing it wrong. Always, hopefully, that tells other people, if Pablo is feeling like that, probably it's not too bad that I feel like that too. Hopefully, at least those comics help other people that way.
Yeah, yeah, it totally makes sense. Honestly, I feel like when I started my YouTube channel, it was exactly like therapy for me, because I was just like talking about I never actually went to therapy, or like never talked to anybody, but like just like talking to the camera. And honestly, I don't see anybody out there besides the camera, so I can say whatever I want. And yeah, it was exactly that way for me.
Yeah.
I saw that in one of the articles, you've mentioned that you feel like you were an introvert, and that you maybe use that to, I don't know, as an excuse, which I felt really weird, because you're so out there, you're all over the internet, and you have your own podcast and stuff like that. So how do you, like, to me that looks like you're not an introvert at all. So how do you see that? Why do you feel like an introvert?
I I I think that we all have a little bit of both. That we can all, like, at least for me. Sorry, I'm making assumptions from other people, but at least for me, I'm able to turn on the switch on and off. Like, right now, I am here. I'm with you talking. I'll try to turn on the switch where, hey, let's try to relate. Let's try to connect. Let's try to talk. I want to hear you. I want to. So, but that can be exhausting too.
Yeah, when you leave this conversation, you're like tired, like, oh man, that was like,
dude, every time after a party, after this stuff, and then I start feeling guilty too. It's so weird. Like you don't get that? Like,
honestly, for me, usually the one-on-one conversation, like, that really gets me pumped and fills me up with energy. Like, I'm going to be so happy about this. I do agree that after events, big events, specifically where you have to run multiple conversation, all the conversation are like, so what's up? So what do you do? Blah, 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 blah. And it's always, I find this very exhausting. But but the one-on-one conversation, I kind of feel like that gives me a lot of energy.
Yeah. Sorry. You're right. One-on-one conversations are not like that. You're right. It's more, yes, events, talks. Even when I do, I'm very grateful that I've been invited to give talks and stuff like that, and I enjoy it, and people seem like getting something really helpful out of them. But I do get really exhausted.
Yeah, it's so tiring.
And I need to not talk to anyone, and I feel shame and guilt. Like, I worry that probably I said the wrong thing. People are gonna go out there and do the things that I told them to do, which are probably BS. Probably shouldn't be doing. Probably they should be doing the opposite. Oh my God! I like all this crappy thoughts like get in my head, and also, like, when I am in those meetings, I try to connect with people, and I try to go there and talk to them, and just, but that just like drains me. I mean, anyone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's exhausting.
Yeah.
You're talking. If you really want to connect to people, then it is exhausting. If you're really trying to listen.
Yeah. Listening is hard, man. I was just like, specifically with my wife, I just told her, like, man, it's so hard to just listen to you and not try to give you advice. I was like, it's.
Dude, hold on. But, so hold on. How did she take that?
At this point, she said, well, like,
Not very good, apparently.
No. She said, why? You can give me advice. But that was like, I felt like she was lying at this point, because so many times she was like, stop telling me what to do. Just listen. So obviously she's not consistent with her. But yeah, it's really, it's hard to not, to be in the focus. I do agree that this takes a lot of effort.
Yeah. And so yeah, back to your question, like the comic I think you're referring to is one where someone doesn't say hi or something. As you say,
exactly.
Hey, I'm just an introvert.
Exactly.
You cannot blame me for not saying hi because, hey, I'm an introvert. And so that was more of a like, hey, for those people that say, oh, I'm just an introvert, like sometimes I feel like they're using it as an excuse to
be jerks,
to not to be jerks. Exactly. And it's like, no, come on, you can still be an introvert, you can still say hi, you can have manners. Come on, don't be a jerk. I don't know, I feel like probably I've been in that place too, whereas like I will be like, I will be in my little mental state, and no, don't talk to me because I am a creative and I'm also an introvert. So, and then people were like, oh, he's in the zone. And it's like, no, you're just being a jerk, Pablo.
Yeah. All right, dude, we're closing up to the end of the conversation, but is there anything that you're super excited about that you want to share, or you want to make sure that, I don't know, that I check or other people check, that you've been doing lately or that you find really cool?
Dude, and I'm pretty sure that your audience is going to tell me the same they tell you, where it's like, we're here for the sign, we're not here for...
No, that's not my podcast. No, that's not my podcast, dude. We talk about all these type of stuff.
That's cool.
It's my channel. I can do whatever I want, you know?
Exactly.
It's like, I'm not going to be... when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, this is not going to be a 1 million subscribers channel, because I'm not trying to optimize for anything besides having a good time and creating the content that I like. And I
love that, man. That's the right approach to anything, you know, and not because if you start looking at the numbers, you start looking at the analytics, like you get all this information that can affect your creative thinking. Then suddenly, this video got a lot of views, I should be making more of those videos. And instead of actually just trying to grow as a creative person and just like experimenting with all stuff, then you get like, oh, well, people want this, and I'm just gonna do that. But so it's,
you know what, it's actually so extreme for me at that point, where I'm only doing the creation. So at this point, I'm like, I create the videos, I have an editor that helps me with the editing, so I just drop the videos after I record them in the Dropbox, and I forget about it. He will edit it, he will upload it to YouTube. I won't even, like, maybe once a week I will go in, I was like, oh, it seems like people are commenting. Like, I have no clue what's going on, what's working, what's not working. It's actually maybe not the smartest thing, you know, if in terms of if I want to make this a success, but it's just like, I'm much more interested about creating than reviewing, or even, you know, a lot of people are like, I do this because I feel like it helps other people. And I feel like for me, that's a lie. I do it because it's fun for me to do. That's it.
And that's great, man. There's no shame on that. That's great. And it's good, because you're right. If you start doing it more for the people, then that can be paralyzing too.
Yeah, like you feel you have to keep doing that because people have expectations from you and that type of stuff.
Exactly. Now, dude, keep doing what you're doing, man. You've been I admire your tenacity. Is that the
I
right
have
word?
no
It's just
idea.
that you keep doing stuff. Keep putting content out there. And you're looks like you're having fun doing it, and you can sense it in your videos and how you talk and how you present stuff. That's very admirable, man. And
Awesome, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
that's pretty cool.
Dude, listen,
And I think
if
people
on
react.
part of your nomad tripping, you wanna come to Israel for a month, I'll host you. And that can be super fun. If you feel like doing that, that can be really awesome.
I'll probably take your offer because
Do
I'm
that.
going to be in Madrid in June.
In June? All right.
Uh,
Amazing.
yeah, and then
That's a really good time to come to
sponsor-
Israel, by the way. Whether like before it gets deserty, like you know. But if you want to feel like home, you can come during the summer. Then you feel like the desert. Um,
oh man, no, I'm leaving
okay.
my hometown because of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So hold on, there's already over there.
What? Yeah, Israel. Basically, it's a desert. Like yeah, kind
Well,
of.
yeah,
Like,
you're in the middle of
yeah,
the desert. You're
yeah,
right.
part of.
Oh,
Like,
I'll probably visit you a weekend or something.
June can be good.
Let's do a
June can
weekend
be good.
together, man.
August can be tough. August can be tough, but June, that'll be really cool.
Okay, cool. Well, let's plan it, man. I would love
Yeah,
to.
awesome.
Okay, so something that I'm excited about. So yeah, I was going to tell you, I'm making music. I'm starting to make
Yeah,
music
I wanted
again.
to ask you about that. We didn't get to that just because we had fun talking about
So
that.
I've been doing music for forever. Like I just like start pressing the buttons and I start pressing the little keys until they do the sound that I want them to make. And because I don't know anything about music theory or anything, but I have some melodies in my head and some little voices telling me like, oh, da 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 da. Oh, that sounds cool. Okay, let me try to put it in the piano. Uh, anyway, I've been like forever. I record a song like on the computer, and then that's it.
You would also sing and
I
write
never do
lyrics
anything
and stuff
with
like that?
yeah,
Or
lyrics. Like all the instruments, the drums and synths and all that stuff. And but I will never share it or anything. I would just keep it on my computer. And then and now I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm going to approach this just as I approach my design stuff. Whereas like I'm going to share it where it's still like one of the things that I don't share it. Why I don't share stuff? Because I know it sucks. Because I know it's not ready. It's not masterized. It's not mixed well. I don't know what I'm doing, and I have a fear of being judged, you know, and then being criticized on something that I feel very very vulnerable. That I know I suck. So I don't share it. And you know what? Screw it.
Of course.
Yeah, I suck.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever. It's out there. If you like it, you don't have to listen to it. So anyway, I have a SoundCloud. And
I'm going to check it out right now, and I'll put the link.
I'm hoping.
Are the songs
to,
in English or Spanish?
No, Spanish,
Spanish?
man.
Oh, man.
I tried so many songs. I tried singing in English, and I cannot.
Dude, I listened.
I cannot fake the accent. It's horrible.
I listened to your podcast in Spanish, and my Spanish is like not that good. But I was like, oh, dude, that sounds so good in Spanish. I wish I could pick up the conversation like that. But
Oh, dude.
so what type?
Dude, no, hold on. Your Spanish is really good, man, because you got it from Monterrey, right?
Right, yeah. But it was like almost 10 years ago, and I didn't practice that much. But I was like, but now that I watched, you know, La Casa de Papel, if you watch it on Netflix or something, it was like, so it's in Madrid, but it was just like listening to Spanish for just watching those 2 seasons. Like I felt so good, and I felt like my Spanish coming back again. So yeah, I really want to practice it. Maybe the next one we'll do in Spanish. I'll try to practice my Spanish. Actually, you know what? It's so funny. We were last weekend. We did kind of a Mexican dinner, and my kids loved the food. So
You made the dinner.
I made the dinner. Yeah, it's not probably.
What did you make?
Yeah, it's not really. It's more maybe like Tex-Mex, but I would like quesadillas and chili con carne, which is like not fully Mexican, but here people call this Mexican
yeah,
food.
It is.
Yeah.
No. That's dope, man.
And my kids
That's so
like
cool.
it.
And your kids like
Yeah,
it.
so my old kid, it was like he's 4.5, and he was like, yeah, but he was trying to fake Mexican. He never knew how that sounds like Spanish or Mexican. But so yeah, last night I told him to say "No mames, way," and I was like, so he was right. So he was going around the house screaming that. So that was pretty funny.
No mames, way. That's so cool, man. I love it.
Cool.
He will fit in Mexico right away. Saying that.
Yeah.
Like,
dude. So I'm gonna look out the. Can I just look it up? SoundCloud, Pablo Stanley.
I'm pretty sure it's not gonna appear on any search engine because I just started sharing my stuff.
Amazing. So send me the link.
SoundCloud.com/Pablo Stanley Music.
Pablo Stanley Music. Amazing.
Yeah.
We'll look that
I'm gonna call my project Pablo Stanley. My name. It's easier to find, I guess.
Amazing. So congrats about that. Stanley. I'll listen to that. Even if it's crappy, I'm going to tell you, wow, that's amazing. It's almost as good as Molotov, and which is my favorite Mexican band.
Dude, Molotov is cool, man. Yeah. Anyone else out there, you should listen to Molotov too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, all right, dude. Thank you so much for staying up late to talk to me. Yeah.
Thank you for waking up so early for me.
Yeah, I always wake up early. It's just my wife that has to take care of the kids.
That's good.
All right, dude.
I gotta stay.
Have an amazing night.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
No mames, güey.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.